You won't cut and run, you'll finally make a stand. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Existential questions always get you down. All you want to know is are we lost or found? Is there something that you feel you need to chase? I bet you thought you put me in my place. 'Cause I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. We're not through. Yeah, I know it's true, I'm finally getting to you. You can run, you can hide, but inside, I'm finally getting to you. Yes, it's true. I still love you, but I am getting to you.
Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2, 1. Mark.
Welcome back to the Resupply with me, guy next door.
Me, DK.
And me, Than.
Bringing you your weekly double tap of all things Space Marines and Laser Force. Hello everyone. Can you let me know if you can hear us? I think you should be able to
Seems
hear
like
us.
that might be important.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No technical problems? Yes.
During the intro. He did
Yep.
qualify it as during the
did.
intro.
That he did.
So we'll do it
So-
later.
Yeah, totally. We'll do it later. Fuck it. We're doing it live. Fuck it. We're doing it live.
The reason I ask, I bought myself a new PC, a new PC this week, and which means I had to I had to reset up OBS, and I could have sworn that I'd forgotten to do something, but we'll see.
If you want to know where that charity money went,
Actually, I was
the
talking.
charity mentioned the greatest scam ever.
I was talking to my
Oh, please
brother.
help the sick kids!
Well, you know, we're gonna
Oh,
take
my
care
new
of
computer.
our expenses first, and then give the rest of the sick kids. Yeah, so I was talking to my brother yesterday, and he was like, "Oh, so you know, have you paid forward the money to the charity yet?" And I was like, "Oh, yeah. We don't touch any of that." And he's like, "Oh, that's good, because you know, fucking house deposit that you're working on suddenly got a lot bigger." How much is your machine? What a coincidence! 13,420.
How interesting.
Nice.
It's a nice computer.
It is a nice computer.
Very, very nice.
Hey guys.
Yeah, you and that goddamn 3080 in it. Jesus.
Ooh, it's so he let me hold it before he put it in. And
Hey now.
yeah. And he was like, check how weighty it is, and I was like, ooh, I like the feel of that in my hands. It doesn't get any better, folks. This is about as
So are we
good
just
as it
not
gets.
doing phrasing anymore?
Not at all. What you do is you get yourself a tape recorder. No, it's a thing of beauty, and it's funny because when I got distracted, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. That's a good place to be. It's the best way to enjoy this podcast. Pin 15.
Completely.
I love I'm a card carrying member of the Pin 15 club.
Aren't we all
Aren't we all?
on this pod?
Hello to you, chat. Nice to see everyone. It's very nice to see these two fellas below me. Hello. It's nice to see you guys.
Whoa.
Is it that?
Yeah, it is. It is. It always
Okay.
is. Hell of a conversation to enter on. Hey, Ron. Just do a little thing in the chat. Do exclamation tails. I set up a thing. I might have done that much earlier. I had also spelt your name wrong, and you were Mr. Dome.
So how hard is it to spell Ron?
Yeah. The P is silent. There we go. Yeah, it's nice to see you guys. What have you been up to? What's been going on in your neck of the woods? I assume a whole lot.
Well, I'm very happy that it is finally Dune Day, and I have managed to restrain myself and not seen the film yet, so I'll be doing that immediately after we finish our wonderful podcast. But, much like in the semi-lamented 1984 version of Dune, in our fair state of California, strange liquid started coming down out of the sky this week. It's very unusual. Haven't seen that in a bit, so, that's
It's,
something.
It's an omen.
Maybe so.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for. It's like, okay, so with all the fires this summer, cool. Now we're gonna drop 5 to 7 inches of rain on the areas that have had all these fires. Yay, mudslides!
Yeah.
Mudslide
Yay.
time.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I'm gonna love getting the news out of Cali for the next few days.
Yeah. It seems
Well,
to
that's
be
fine.
like
You just go on Reddit and double check how many people have a hate boner for California anytime something bad happens in our state.
but
Yes, accurate.
today's stream is not suitable for younger viewers. Never is though, to be fair. It's
I was about to say, we have never been a
family friendly.
we've never been a family friendly stream ever. Even at our most restrained, we have never been a family friendly stream. Why would we start now?
I was thinking about this today. I was like, we should get like Len Kelly on the show, one of the Kelly brothers, to come on the show. And then I was like, there's no fucking way they'll be like, yeah, I'll come on the show. That'll be great representation for our brand.
Fucking corporate shill over here wanting to sell out to the man.
Look, I mean, we give props to the people who without whom we wouldn't all be friends. So, you're in for the lurk.
Accurate.
Awesome, Stu. Wicked.
Sure.
Appreciate it. But are you gonna go to the cinema and see it?
No. I'm not going to do that. Load myself into a coronavirus-infested theater with a bunch of people who are going to breathe on me, sitting with some kind of like sticky substance under my foot, paying like a $20 markup to get some popcorn and soda when I could just, sit on my couch and pause the movie when I needed to go take a piss for a 2.5-hour movie. Yeah. Many people are upset about the upcoming apparent death of cinemas. I'm not one of those people.
You're like, bring it on. Turn those empty sites into laser force sites.
I mean, I'm definitely gonna go see it at the cinema on Sunday because I do like that experience. And I mean, let's face it, I'm in Texas. No matter where I go, there's coronavirus being breathed on me at all points in time. So at this point, if I haven't caught it, okay, well, fine. But yeah, I'm definitely going to see it on the big screen because I feel like it's one of those that does need that experience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
I like
just
it.
me.
I like that experience. Flash of inspiration for Texas.
Please don't give Texas any more inspiration. They have had far too much inspiration. They need to pare back their exuberance just a little bit.
Need to back the fuck Oh,
Oh,
Jesus.
Jackass 141. Thank you for the follow. Welcome into the Resupply. We're talking about how awesome Texas is currently.
No, we're not talking about how awesome Texas is in any way, shape, or form. Fuck this state. Jesus fucking Christ.
Texas is as awesome as the band Puddle of Mud, which Steve absolutely adores.
Before we started, I had a rant. I had a rant at my friend Than for being obtuse. Ugh. I can't believe
Really?
he put me
Really?
back
We're
in
gonna
that.
classify that as me being obtuse. Are
I
you
think
fucking
so.
kidding me?
I think so. Yuck. Yuck. You've missed this. You've missed this part. We're glad that you're here, Nate. We're very glad that you're here. I went off my fucking rocker at Than before we started.
That's accurate.
We made him rage quit. It wasn't even Thunderdome Thursday.
Oh, yeah, there was no drop the controller involved at all. Hello, Steve. Jackson's here. Oh, hey, bro. Wanted to ask you about an updated visual. Hey, I need to ask you about some some work shit in the middle of your podcast. Thanks for the follow, brother. Appreciate it. Check it out, actually, because I haven't seen you in a while. Boom. Look at that. No more here. I don't know if your folks told you, but we did a charity event a couple weeks ago. Yeah, we managed to hit our goal. We actually smashed our goal of 10K. We raised over 13,500. And I said if we did 10, I would shave my head. So there you go. Now there's only one of us with amazing locks, assuming that you haven't cut your hair yet. But yeah, before we started, we for some reason got onto Puddle of Mud. And I was like, yeah, they had a couple songs, but otherwise their band sucks. And of course Blurry. Blurry was the first song, and then Tham was like, oh yeah. And the other one, She Fucking Hates Me, and I just, Than.
It was
He was a little upset.
It's a funny song.
It's not a funny
fucking,
song. It's everything
it's a
wrong with
funny
the music
song.
industry. That's what that song is.
Here they go again.
Yuck. Shame on you, radio, for playing garbage like that. Terrible. Watching highlights, waiting to actually catch us live. Highlights are much better. No, we're alright. We're alright. Did we hear about the COVID case in the South Island? No, we're about, Steve.
I think you say the COVID case. It's like, wow, there's one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that'd be nice.
Yeah.
We're still running like multiple thousands of new cases a day here. So, that's cool, I guess. But then again, the DFW area has like 8+ million people by itself, so,
Yeah. We have
you get that.
We have some of that number. Our government were like, they put on an event, a vaccine event, but it was like a telecast kind of event, like a marathon event, kind of like what we did. In fact, I think it was the next day, or it possibly was the day of then we, when we did ours. I can't remember. Maybe it was the next week. Anyway.
And the New Zealand government ripped off our show.
Yeah, they did.
A lawsuit.
They were like, let's have a wheel of doom where if you don't get vaccinated, all of the options are death. It was just a bloody great time. But yeah, there was a big push to get everyone vaccinated. So
Well, funnily, with that, like, I actually got an email from New Zealand Immigration a couple of days ago, which was basically saying after November 1st, any non-New Zealand citizen trying to enter the country must show proof of vaccination. And for those of you without your decoder ring wondering why the fuck I'm getting an email from New Zealand Immigration, it's because I have permanent residency.
It's because they were bored and
Yeah.
reaching out.
Yeah. So that is why I'm getting emails from them, because I do actually have legal status within within the country if I can ever manage to get back.
Time to move home, brother.
Don't bring your disgusting unvaxxed ass back into our lovely country.
Pretty much. But so getting that email was kind of like, does this mean that there's something coming after, as we get into November with maybe some border restrictions loosening?
think
Because
so.
that would be real fucking cool.
Also, they've just implemented the red light, green light system here, which apparently the rest of the world uses. Where if you're double vaxxed, you get green lights all the way to do stuff, and if you're not, you don't. So
Eat a dick.
Eat a dick. There's one COVID case in Blenheim. It's the South Island's first community case since 2020. Yeah, it's weird that it started in Blenheim. How the fuck did it get to Blenheim? Who's down there?
Nobody.
Speaking of South Island names, it's funny. I was listening to the other what if, because we're gonna do some what if scenarios again. We've done this podcast in the past, but I was listening to the first one earlier today to make sure that we hadn't actually discussed what we're going to talk about today. We hadn't, well, sort of. And you had brought up that you'd always wondered what Dunedin, how you say Dunedin. And then mention how
I remember
you thought it was Dunedin, which is way
which
better.
is objectively cooler.
It's so much cooler.
Like, no, we should start saying that though.
Link to the Te Awamutu case. How the fuck do you get from Te Awamutu to Blenheim without infecting anyone in between? Well, I'm assuming they hadn't. The individual flew from Rotorua.
Maybe they got like fired out of a catapult or something.
And arrived in Blenheim on October 25th. Dumb. The traffic light system will never come into effect because there's no way we're going to hit 90% double vax rates. Yeah, I think I'm on the same kind of ballpark as you, Jax.
Was that supposed to be like the cutoff signal?
Yeah, 90% is the goal.
It's a reasonable goal.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if it's reasonable for modern humans, but it's like that's a good goal. Like we should try to get above that number.
Mathematically, it's a good goal.
Yeah.
Dealing with people, yeah.
Well, so what
and
they
this
should do
hellscape of misinformation
is if New Zealand hits 90%, then Auckland, then New Zealand will shave its Auckland. That's the goal.
Just like break you guys off into the ocean.
Yeah.
Bye, Auckland.
Oh, it looks so weird. Ew. All right. What's so Dune. You're gonna watch Dunedin today. That's pretty cool.
get that Dunedin. Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Where do you watch that on Prime?
HBO Max. Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Because they're streaming a bunch of stuff.
Right. Mean.
Yeah, you need to enjoy that this year while it's still a thing, because there's no guarantee they're going to be doing the simultaneous releases next year.
It's no guarantee, but I feel like it's still going to be a reasonably popular thing. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Which, before you bring that up, I was glad you bring up streaming services because, all right, Steve already had.
Oh no!
Oh no, he's back. He's back. Steve already had what?
You already had your rant about early 2000s bands you don't like. So I'll get into my temporary rant here about this week I had signed up for that popular package deal that they have in the US that is Hulu, Disney Plus, and ESPN Plus.
Oh yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
As like a bundle package. So I'm like, okay, this will be great. I can catch up on some Disney Plus stuff. I can, now that I've gotten rid of my traditional cable box, I'll still have ESPN Plus, so hopefully I can still stream some basketball games, and I'll watch some Hulu series. That'll be great. Only discover that you cannot stream live sports on ESPN Plus unless you have a live TV access point of some kind.
That's wrong.
Which means you either need to have cable or you need to get the Hulu option with actual live TV.
That's wrong.
Hulu.
Because, no, that's wrong because I have that package, and I can stream live sports because I've
You can
been
stream
streaming.
some live sports. You cannot stream the NBA, which is what I wanted to
Oh.
stream.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see,
You can stream
you just
the live sports that they have listed on their platform. Like, there's lots of soccer games, which is great, but
Yes,
they didn't have the NBA,
that's-
which is what I wanted to
that's what I'm
watch.
streaming. Okay.
Yeah.
See, but you just made a blanket statement of live. You couldn't watch live sports. That's
go with
empirically
it.
wrong. Now, if you had specifically said I couldn't stream the NBA, okay,
I couldn't
then-
watch the NBA game I wanted.
there you go. Words
All right.
fucking matter.
Nah, who
Come
wants to
on.
watch any other sport? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah, I'm right. Except for football. Fucking love me some football.
So in any case, that was disappointment number one, and I was like, okay, well, just out of the ballpark, how much would it cost to actually add like the live TV option via Hulu and stuff like that? It's like $60 a month or something. It's stupid. I'm like, why did I just get rid of my cable box? It was the same price. You just can't win with these fuckers. So that was
Correct.
disappointment number one. Disappointment number two, package deal right there. That only includes the Hulu with ads
Correct.
section. And so I was like, ads? Who wants to watch fucking ads? I got streaming services, so we don't have to watch fucking ads. So then it's like, okay, well, fine. Let me get the version without ads. It's like $6 extra a month. Oh, sorry, you got the package deal. So if you do that, it's going to then cancel your subscriptions to Disney Plus and ESPN Plus. So I said, fuck you guys, you pieces of shit. So anyway, I have Disney Plus and ESPN Plus for a month, but after that, it's just going straight
it's
back
latest.
to Hulu with no ads. So that was lame as fuck.
This podcast brought to you by Netflix.
Which is having their own set of problems right now, but yeah.
This is throwing me for a loop. This is not the normal topics of discussion, kids. As you can see, pretty quiet around here at the old Resupply. Post charity stream and post being able to play any sort of laser tag, but that's okay, because we're mostly here to just talk shit because it's fun.
I think people are pretty aware of that deal when they logged on.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, so this is episode 124. We started with the live shows at episode like 70
Something like that.
I can't remember. Late 60s, early 70s, whatever.
This was a quiz question once.
Yeah, you wrote a quiz question. Fuck it, I don't fucking remember. If people haven't realized by now what this show is or isn't on any given day, I don't know what to tell you.
Know me. Yeah, I thought that's where you were going.
No, it's not where I was going with that.
Perfect. Hey,
Because fuck you, that's why.
so I don't know if I said very very quick happy birthday shout out to El Diablo over in Germany, member of the Laser Force community. Happy birthday, bro! Hope you're doing well. We've got a thing coming up. As you guys know, on a whim, I have these ideas. And whether or not these ideas
Always.
ever come to fruition, cheers, Dolly, nice to see you. Whether or not these ideas come to fruition is another story. But have you guys heard about the mixtape, the mixtape idea? No, by the puzzled look, I'm gonna assume no. So
Yeah, that's a negatory. So you wanna let the rest of the class know what the fuck your idea is
Absolutely.
this time.
You making me a mixtape and to ask me to prom? What's going on here?
I'm gonna stand outside your house with a boombox. Yeah. So as you guys are more rapping, kind of. So as you guys are aware, through this Twitch stream, we have become quite a wider community. There's other streamers that we have aligned ourselves with, and through that our community has grown. And part of that community, there's a large part of the community that is fairly musical. We don't have any artists here on this stream, but some of
not at all.
our community quite talented musicians. So
But nobody on this stream.
on
Nope.
the stream,
Nope.
no.
People on this stream have no taste in music. They like bands like Puddle of Mud.
Oh, they're like, oh, She Fucking Hates Me is a great song. Yuck, get out of here.
I didn't say it was a great song. I said it was a funny song. Fuck you.
You said it with your eyes, mate. I could tell. So, so through through the community, there's been a couple of really hilarious and awesome songs that have been released, and also some garbage like Twitch Life by Toothpick Steve.
Yeah,
But
that's the fucking worst. That's
fucking
worse
guy.
than Puddle of Mud.
It's worse than She Fucking Hates Me. Nickelback all the time.
Correct.
What up, man, Broleys? I don't mind me a bit of Nickelback. Nickelback, unfortunately, become the punching bag of the internet. Unjust.
Nickelback are a punching bag because people are just jealous. That's literally all it is. They found their niche.
Yeah.
They hit it. They've been super successful at it, and pretty much everybody that is like, oh, Nickelback's a fucking joke. No, man, they hit their niche
Look at this graph.
and they got to make a career at it.
Yeah.
I'm sure they can console themselves on their piles full of money.
Correct.
Yeah, I think they're doing okay. I went to a Nickelback concert for free, actually, and I was standing there, and there was...
That was the correct price.
Yeah. There was a large amount of over 40s people at the show, which was fine. I knew the words to most of the songs that played, surprisingly.
They're catchy.
They are
Yeah.
very catchy. But not where I was going with that. There's giraffe. Where I was going with that is we have about a half a dozen or so songs that have been put into the community either here or over at Blueson's channel or Truly Awful Gaming's channel. And I think they're awesome. And I was like, somebody needs to archive these before they get lost into the ether. And like, you know, a lot of people put them up on YouTube and it is what it is. But I thought what would be cool is if we had like a central archive and then I thought, well, actually, what would be better than that is having a physical medium in which we could actually listen to these songs. So I'm building. the initial idea was, we should get some vinyls pressed of these songs. That would be fucking awesome. Turns out that's a very cost prohibitive process.
Yeah, vinyl is fucking expensive. I could have told you that.
I
you
mean,
could
I
have said, "Hey."
already knew it, but you know, yeah.
No, it's super cost prohibitive for small runs. It's
I
fucking
would have.
ridiculous.
I mean, I would have consulted some musicians about it first, but
Taking music and putting it on a physical object. What is this sorcery?
he's just the dude is like, fuck the cinema industry. But so instead of that, and I think it was, you gonna go get snacks? Yeah. I think it was Smalley's idea. Smalley was like, oh, you know, you should do a like cassette instead, and I was like, that's a great idea.
And even more practical technology.
Yeah. Cassettes are coming back, bro. Did I hear you need an audio engineer? Jax, we might actually need an audio engineer. Why? Have you got some experience in that? A cassette with a USB pop out. That's not a bad idea. Is that a thing?
Yeah. No,
it probably should be.
Does it work as a cassette?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah, cassettes are making this weird
Yeah.
comeback, like vinyl coming back. I can actually, I can understand vinyl coming back. That there is something to the audio properties of a proper vinyl record.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, fine, whatever. Cassettes were just like, they would just fucking die on you at a moment's notice and get all fucking tangled, and you'd have to like try to
chewed
fix
up.
them with like pencils, and it's like, why the fuck is this medium coming back?
Well, you know,
That's-
same thing. Like
The whole other thing.
like vinyl was similar. Like eventually the needle wears down, and then like, you know, you have to get a replacement stylus, and good luck fucking doing that now. Jax, I might have to
It's a
send
lot
you a
easier
message
now than it used to be.
later. What?
It's
Easy,
actually
yeah,
easier now than
yeah,
because it's coming back. Yeah.
yeah. Vinyl is zero compression in physical form. Ah, there you go. So the audio quality is better. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. That's literally the reason.
Yeah, right. So, yeah, I'm in the process of putting together a mixtape And I believe Lucy is doing some art. She sent me she sent me some fan art of Toothpick Steve a couple weeks ago, which like terrified
Yep.
me and also made me like crack up laughing because it's amazing. Um, yeah, but I'm thinking that did you guys ever have the Now That's What I Call Music compilation albums?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Okay. So I didn't
Yeah.
know if it
That
was
was
a
a thing.
thing here or if it was a global thing. So what I'm thinking is
Global.
now that's what I call community tunes. I think that's what the name of the album was going to be. So
Okay.
if anyone would like to participate in this project and you have a piece of music that you would like to write, most of it is fairly pistakey, on par with like Twitch Life or Something in My Pocket by Frosty Boys, which is about putting bees in your pocket. If you've ever heard it, it's pretty great. So if anyone wants to write some music and contribute to this project, feel free to send it through to me, and we will yeah, clearly avoiding the allegation that anything on the album is actually music. To be fair, so Blueson and Frosthammer have created a side project called Skyloft, and the Skyloft tracks are fucking awesome. You can write terrible songs. Show me what you got. Not what I call. Oh, that's so good. Not what I call music.
I'm here for.
Yeah, we'll put She Fucking Hates Me on that track. Uh,
The gift that keeps on giving.
what a time for you to tune
Correct.
in. I mean, you just heard your name through the ether, mate. You were like,
Beep, beep.
some motherfuckers are smack talking me on the internet. I've got to go. Hello, brother. Nice to see you. So yeah, that's a little thing we're working on as a community. What's literally to do with Skyloft gets said? What's new in your guys' neck of the woods? What have you been up to aside from going to go see Dune today?
I mean, my neck of the woods, I'm actually in my busy period at work.
Yeah.
But basically there there are essentially 4 times a year that I actually am busy at work, and I'm busy for about 3 weeks. And then the remainder of the time is relatively chill. But um, next week for me is quarterly IT planning. So the last 2 weeks have been like all of the lead up to that, and that's just always it's always an interesting run of run of days as like management goes, oh wait, we actually need you to prioritize this thing. It's like, really? Okay, you couldn't have told me that like a month ago when you knew that, but okay. So
At least that
it's
could have saved me.
yeah. So that's just one of those things. Um, Although you know, overall though, like things are actually pretty good. I actually had a run of 4 days this week of getting more than 6.5 hours sleep in a night,
Wow.
which I haven't done that in like literally
Nice.
7+ months.
Damn you, Diablo.
Um, no, nothing to do with Diablo. I wish it had been, that, but no, just
Or at least
yeah,
only
just
that.
Yeah.
or at least only that. Yeah, that would have been preferable. But no, actually, it's like, oh, what is this kind of feeling rested thing? This is weird. Um, and yeah, just overall, overall feeling pretty good. It's one of those like, nothing new to report in the mental health minute, which in and of itself is something to report.
Mm,
It's that whole, it's like, oh, I'm actually feeling pretty good.
pretty fantastic, if you
This
will.
is um yeah, I don't think I'm too fantastic yet, asshole. Um but it's definitely, there's definitely an upward progression as far as like as far as that goes. So
Mm.
yeah, it's that, we're so adamant about, normalizing the mental health conversation side of things, that we have to normalize, not only talking about when shit's not going well, but it's okay to say, hey, I'm actually feeling pretty damn good. Like, you need to be able to have both of those conversations.
And not feel
Yeah, and
guilty
it's
about
good
it,
to
right?
remind yourself. It's good to remind yourself too, because it's like otherwise, if you only bring it up when you're feeling low, it's like that becomes either your expectation or your only frame of reference. Like, well, the only time we ever bring it up is when something goes wrong, versus things go right a lot of the time too.
Yeah. So, yeah,
Good.
it's been a it's been an interesting, almost 11 months
Yeah,
with this particular journey. And you guys in this channel have kind of been here for all of it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. So yeah, thought I would actually share some, not fucking depressing updates for a change, because
good.
God knows I have shared some real fucking depressing shit on this show. Um,
that's life,
yeah,
man.
Puddle of mud.
that is life. So
That's
yeah.
good. Real good. Dickhead, what are you up to, man?
Not a whole lot. Still continuing the sort of getting back into a little bit better shape fitness journey, since I kind of alluded to it last week that I didn't really have like scary health news per se, but a couple things to keep an eye on. So I had to go back to the doctor this last week just to get a quick blood pressure check, so that way they could see how my numbers were relative to a couple weeks ago. But in those couple of weeks, I kind of sorted out my diet a little bit, cut way down on like sugar and salt and other things that taste good.
Yeah, all the
Um,
fun stuff.
Tried to exercise more and went back in and like, oh yeah, your blood pressure is great. It's like perfect numbers. I'm like, well, on the one hand, that's good news. On the other hand, it's like, okay, so you're telling me if I don't eat like shit for 2 weeks in a row and actually take care of myself, that my health improves? This is shocking, startling revelations. So, still gonna try to take off a few more kilos, hopefully get myself into a little bit more playing shape. Maybe get back into when I was wearing this shirt to play laser tag, since that was probably one of the times I was in better shape was for the 2017 Nats. But COVID took a little bit of a toll, as it did on many people. The fact that I don't have laser tag as like a weekly check-in for your fitness level, because that was kind of my update for a long time was, okay, am I kind of dogging it up the ramps? Am I huffing and puffing more after games than I feel like I should? If so, maybe it's time to sort of sort out my training regimen and all that. So, I got kind of a kick in a different direction, but it's not bad. You try to get things back on track before they get too bad, and go from there.
Yeah, I'm sort of trying to find my way back. It's taking the scenic route back to good health. I'm terrified of when we actually get to play some lasers again, because my my fitness is pretty bad. We went for a skate. You're gonna probably collapse the first game back. Yeah, me too.
Well, you lost a good like what 2 stone in hair probably.
Yeah, yeah, that does help. I'm a little more streamlined. We went for we went for a skate last weekend, or no, sorry, during the week, and to what? And that was a real struggle. And Laser Force is far more intense than skating, so I did nothing. Speaking of Laser Force, this podcast is sometimes about that.
No, wait, what?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, sometimes, not recently, but that's
No,
okay.
not even a little bit recently.
So, we're gonna segue to what we're gonna talk about. So, a few months ago, quite a few months ago, we did a podcast called What If, and it was kind of based on the Marvel Comics What If ideas. Which since then, obviously, if you're a geek like me, most of you are, you probably know that there was a What If Marvel animated series on Disney Plus.
It was fucking awesome.
Pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, we thought, well, we might as well rehash that idea because it's been a minute. We had, we had a bunch of topics that we didn't talk about on that particular show. That one was fun though. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's a pretty good episode. But we thought for today we would revisit some what ifs. We don't have too many. We got a couple, but that's okay because we've been talking now for 40 minutes and only just getting into the crux of what we were going to talk about.
As we do.
As we do, yeah.
We're good like that.
But I thought your brain hurts. What's wrong with your brain? Oh, because of what's been talked about. Anyway, Disneyland has a zombie Captain America at the park now. Fucking cool and terrifying. But the
That's probably just a regular actor who came down with COVID.
His name happened to be Steve. Yeah, so let's get into what we were talking about. Should I just pose the question? Do you guys want me to just pose the question to start
What was
off?
that
Yeah.
question?
So
Yeah, pose that question. Pose that question.
So the first question, the first what if scenario. What if the cult, the famous cult based in one of the US laser force centers, what if the cult weren't a cult and weren't a bunch of cheaty assholes? What if that was the case? I didn't really give you guys much time to think about it, but what are
I mean, to which my reply was, well, yeah, what if shit tasted like Reese's peanut butter cups and chocolate brownies? It would be a completely different universe. It's like if you just strip things of their essential properties, then yes, of course things look different. But
That's right.
But we can be a little bit more introspective than that, I guess.
So
Yeah.
So if you're looking at it from the standpoint of, let's pretend that the core of them was just a group of friends
I'm gonna stop you.
who had
Apologies to stop you. Can you give context for those who may not know what the cult is? Can that be explained on more, please? Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
sorry. And this is dumb because I'm usually the one that's wrapping people back like, no, we have to circle that back and clue people in. So sorry, my fault, my bad. So for
Where do we
everyone,
start?
okay, so for everyone who doesn't know, which apparently was a lot of chat. Sorry about that.
I'm gonna just add allegedly. Just a big old allegedly right at the start of this, just in case, allegedly.
I don't
Alleged,
think
it's fact.
yeah. We actually don't need to do the allegedly at this point. So in basically around 2012, 2013 at the Detroit Laser Force site, quite literally a cult group started playing. Allegedly definitely happened. Yeah, sure. And said cult group did what cults do and dropped a lot of money at the facility and essentially used Tag as a recruitment facility or recruitment pipeline.
Not that successfully, but
Yeah.
Tried, yeah.
You want to know how to
did
start a pyramid scheme? Hold my beer, okay, cult?
yeah, pretty much. Did participate in the 2013 Nats was their first introduction, or what was the wider community's introduction to them because they actually did play that particular tournament. And then basically from that point they became more and more enmeshed in Detroit Lasers to the point that they actually bought the Detroit Laser Force site, which it was hard to fault the previous owner for selling because he was close to retirement. He wanted to cash out and get out. You take the money, you go, and okay, fine. That was there were some challenges with that in as much as now that the cult literally controlled a site, It led to issues when traveling to other sites like Loveland in 2015 and Syracuse in 2016.
Well, let's not
Uh,
gloss over Loveland 2015 because that was probably the most important incident in the history of the cult.
well, okay,
what happened?
but so let me get to kind of the end, and then we'll come back
Okay.
to that because DK is right. 2015 was definitely a turning point as far as that goes. So yeah, 2015 in Loveland, 2016 in Syracuse. Colt is there. They're still in control of Detroit Lasers. Lots of really bad shit happens kind of in both in both instances. 2016 to the point that the reason it's referred to as fake Nats is because it yeah, basically the cult left because they were finally kind of basically told by Sanch, the New York owner, to fuck off for
Well, and
various
it was
reasons.
canceled midweek specifically because there were threats of physical violence that went back and forth between one or more of the cult members and other members of the Laser Force community.
Yeah.
I feel like I should clarify that.
Oh yeah. No, it's and yeah, you should. And you did. So good. Um all and all of this kind of finally mostly went away because as cults do, they sometimes lose steam. And they ended up having to sell lasers because they were apparently cults are bad business people.
They ran it into the ground.
Yeah, ran it into the ground. Was purchased by the current ownership. Um, but apparently the cult is actually still around playing games at certain times because they still give them money.
And fair, like
So
if
there's
if they
yeah.
want to go and participate in the pastime, that's fine. Just keep your garbage away from our community. Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of the net result of having the cult involved in the community was I'll say a lot of division and strife. A lot of division and strife. Like I understand, as a generalized statement, historically in Laser Force, there's been a certain amount of division and strife. Just because. This was division and strife on steroids. So yeah,
Yeah,
that was
I
fantastic.
specifically did not go to the 2016 Nats because they were going to be there, and that is the only Nats I have missed. Well, really, of Nats that have been held in the U.S., it's the only one I've ever missed
Yeah.
for any reason, and it was the only one I'd missed since 2009 when they started back up here in the States because I just refused to be associated with that kind of player base and that kind of toxicity.
Sounds like the Cobra Kai of lasers.
And then some, yeah. It was also the case that, I mean, we didn't have a site at that particular time, so it's not like there were a bunch of people from Sacramento that were going to go, and I was just like, no, I won't go. It just, nobody from California really went to that one. Maybe we had one or two players who went, and I can't remember at this point.
I
don't
don't
think
think
anybody from
anybody
California went though.
Had you played
But
the
yeah,
I think the only
with them?
person even from Loveland went, and I know Thunder played with the OG Detroit people that year. I'm pretty sure. So some people from the West Coast went. I did not go. It's the only tournament that I just did not go to in terms of a Nats.
Yeah, was that had you played with them the year before in Loveland?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And
And that was a big part of why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 2015 in Loveland was basically yeah, the cult basically drafted Scythe.
Yeah.
Scythe made poor life choices.
Which you will admit.
Yeah.
Josh, you can go on the show and defend yourself if you want.
I think he has already in the past. He said
Yes.
that he regretted doing it. Scythe, for those who don't know, arguably the best player in the US, possibly the world. Yeah. Arguably.
He's
Arguably.
Until you beat Rusty in Brisbane, you don't get to say you're the best in the world. Even Scythe says that.
Yeah, fair. One of the best,
Yeah.
probably top 3 players in the world.
He's an amazingly good player. We'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. But they
Um,
attempted to draft both him and Baden, I believe, and Baden was like, no, no, thank you. And Scythe was like, okay, cool. And then, from what I've been told, all hell kind of broke loose that year. What was the
Yeah.
particular incident? Was there a particular incident?
There wasn't one particular. I guess you can say the particular incident was in finals, but there wasn't one particular incident. They just persistently cheated throughout
Right.
the week, in a way that was obvious to people after the fact, but they would very intentionally either do it in front of refs who were not experienced enough to understand what they were doing, or just would do it outside the presence of refs, but was witnessed by multiple players because it happened to us and to me when I was a player against them. There were just things that the refs didn't catch, which always happens, but most of the time it's accidental.
Yeah, most
It
of the time
happens
it's
all the time we
unintentional,
play
yeah.
laser tag. But it happens so often and so consistently in exactly the same way, there was no doubt that it was intentional.
Yeah. Right.
And between having witnessed it myself as a player, not as a ref, because they were smart enough not to do it directly in front of me when I was reffing, and reports from multiple people who I trust and respect, there was no doubt that they were cheating pretty consistently throughout the tournament.
Right.
But it came to a head in finals when they went up against, I don't even want to say Brisbane. It was a Brisbane hybrid team. It was a team that still had Rusty and Traj and Glader and Fredo on it, so still a pretty decent team. But it was not a full strength Brisbane team by any stretch of the imagination. And
I can't even remember who their other two people were. It was
Yama and Ivy.
It was Yama and Ivy? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When it came to finals, they were able to cheat consistently enough and manage to take Traj out on his last life as a heavy on either a chase or a shield. Don't remember exactly what it was that couldn't be seen. I was at a potential angle to see it, except that I was blocked by two other people, at least one of which was one of the cult members. And at the time, all I was thinking of was I need to call a block on this player. But specifically, it was also obscuring my view of what had happened down the line. Now, I can't say for sure whether that was intentional, whether it was, hey, go run in front of DK so that way that he can't see what we're about to do. But that's how it turned out anyway.
Right.
So the cult, quote unquote, won the tournament, but nobody considered it to be any kind of legitimate victory. There was questions about, do you want to replay this game? Is we're going to need to have some kind of side conversation? But basically, everybody was so tired of it at that point that even Rusty and Traj were just like, it's not worth the headache. Let's not get into this. If they have to get ahead by cheating, that just is, it is what it is. And Scythe, for his part, was completely out of it at that point as well. He was like, yeah, this didn't feel earned at all. I don't feel like I beat Brisbane. We didn't do a good job with that. Like, Scythe played really well that week. That was fine, but he didn't cheat, but all of his teammates certainly did.
Yeah.
So he felt pretty bad about that. And we, in fact, have some pictures from when we all went out to Denny's afterward. It's just him looking kind of dejected at the table.
That was one of the best / worst Denny's trips ever.
Yeah.
Just amazing, an absolutely amazing Denny's trip as far as just watch that moment when you're just watching the soul like suck out of somebody completely. Yeah.
It could definitely be on the Reddit, watch people die inside.
Frosty, I can't wait till you start playing Laser Force. We're gonna get you mad addicted to D&D.
So between that, the fact that they had cheated to get ahead, the fact that they had bad blood with a lot of players, that they were just manipulative, disrespectful, rude to refs, to other players. I'm like, I don't need that kind of stuff in my life, so I didn't want to involve myself in it. And in a lot of the other real world things and stories that were coming out about them, I said I wouldn't feel comfortable just being at an event with them, or honestly accepting their money, because I am not entirely sure what the source of some of that cash is.
Yeah. There are, and just as another point of reference, we use the term cult, and it, like Than said, it's like it's a proper use of the word cult. there are, if you'd like some more context, contact me after the podcast and I can send you some references. I'm not going to refer to them in during the podcast, but there are some very serious activities that this particular group of people participated in. So yeah, we'll allegedly,
Principally the guy at the top, and maybe a couple of the couple of the other side
yeah.
lieutenants, capos, whatever you want to call them.
So then to go back to, they don't have vaccine passports, probably not.
Correct.
But not shocking to
not.
learn they're massive anti-vaxxers
Hey,
either.
well, what's up, dude? We're talking about a very sensitive subject.
Evil, why couldn't you just run over one of them instead of Thunder? Take him out, bro.
Yeah, get your linebacker trucking cranking, my dude. So then to put that into context, and to go back to the premise of the show, what if that group of people weren't a bunch of cheaters? Or would love to. Make sure you film.
Yeah, because I will say this, because yes, they were dirty cheats. They did a bunch of really bad things, but I will say their teamwork and their communication actually was quite good. There were things that they did which involved a great deal of skill and organization that I can't say were necessarily bad. I oftentimes wish that my own teams or other teams that I've seen had that level of teamwork, cooperation, communication, etc. Now, part of that is also because it's like if you didn't listen to the one guy at the top, then there would be sanctions if things didn't go according to plan. And no other laser tag team, fortunately, that I've been a part of has that kind of strict level of rigor and discipline. But nonetheless, right, having good communication, good teamwork, if that was all they were and they were able to play cleanly and still have that level of communication, teamwork, and still do well, then I think it actually could have been good for the scene to really kind of move the game in another direction. Because one of the things that I think it can happen at any site is you get too reliant on having your one or two super elite players as those are your team breaker type players. Like if they're on and they're leading your team, you basically are trying to arrange things to support them, but they're the ones who are really the kind of focal point of all your attacks and things like that. And it can be a little bit sometimes less about the team as a whole and more about like how do we make sure that we have the power players, and B, maximizing their abilities.
Yeah. So, and then and actually, and Stallion makes a good point in chat. It would have been a great player on site. Yes, like
Yeah.
if it was just if it had just been a group of friends, group of players that were that were just all about it, without the culty portions of things.
Without the culty aftertaste.
Yeah, without the culty aftertaste. Yeah, that it could have elevated Detroit into it could have elevated that site further, because player base wise at that time with the non-cult members, pretty strong site. Even even now with some people that are still there, decently strong site. But if they had kind of this extra catalyst, it could have been genuinely next level. But unfortunately, that's not how that went down in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Which is it's one of those things. I mean, it's always disappointing and sad when you're kind of watching a site disintegrate before your eyes. And that's kind of what we got over the course of a couple of years with them owning Detroit. We got to watch Detroit just rumble.
I think the cult have just
Well,
paid Frost
we
to have
say
a visit.
crumble, but
Okay,
but bear in mind, in
Crumble-
2019, a proper Detroit team still did beat a better Brisbane team than came to Loveland. So
Yeah, but that was
crumble slash recover. I mean,
recover. Yeah,
there was a recovery.
yeah. Because at the time when we
but
saw it happen, it tore like of those what 3 years, it tore that site asunder.
yes.
Yeah, like from what I heard, like it caused a massive rift. Yeah, in that particular site. Because why would you want to
Well,
go play? I feel the crumble thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that had a flow-on impact to Syracuse, because Syracuse and Detroit, they're relatively close enough as far as U.S. sites go, to on a fairly regular basis, they were able to go back and forth and just play games with
yeah,
with
they've probably had the
each
most
other.
inter-site competition of any two sites in the U.S. at this point.
Yeah, because it was like a it's like a 6.5 hour drive if you go through Canada, which relative to the size of the U.S., not that bad.
It's like a short
Uh,
drive in the U.S.
yeah, pretty much. Um, so yeah, so not only did it negatively impact Detroit at as a site, although again we're happy to say that they re-ramped back in 2019 and obviously got them the win. Cool, good for them. But there's this lost time there that who knows like what players maybe they could have brought in, or that they could have gotten, because people were being scared off by the cult at that point. Like some of the there was stuff on the news basically saying avoid this place because of this. I mean, we are not underselling how bad this was.
Yeah,
Um,
the because the unfortunate thing about them, quote unquote, winning in 2015 was essentially when we kind of ousted them from the tournament scene because all the other site owners and players said, "Hey, we're not cool with you guys coming to our events anymore." Their immediate go-to was, "Well, you guys just don't want us around because we actually won because we knew how to beat you guys." And it's like, A, that's garbage. And B, it was kind of particularly ironic coming from them because they frequently banned some of the old school Detroit players when they would beat them in games, and that would lead to arguments that got some of them banned. So that was a bit of a fit of projection, but that was kind of the unfortunate thing, that because they had that quote unquote championship, that they felt that they had sort of some kind of competitive edge that other people were not into. But again, if they had just been good team players, because none of them individually was on the level of the top players in the US, but together as a unit, they were pretty good. They didn't need to cheat to be competitive, but
It's just in
sometimes
the
you can't
nature
help
of some
yourself.
people, yeah. If
Yeah.
you're a shit person, and have generally shit, they had to cheat in queues also. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, it doesn't shock me.
yeah. Neither.
They cheated everywhere I saw them play,
Yeah.
so.
yeah.
Did you have them? Did you guys host them at all that much, Evo? Did they ever come up to you guys that much? Like prior to 2016? Because I'd imagine there's a lot of back and forth between Q's and Detroit, right?
I want to say there was at least one like ECT that they also went to,
Right.
but I could be wrong on that. We'll see if people can fill it in the chat.
Yeah. Right. So I mean, yeah. If they weren't a bunch of terrible people,
It
and
probably would have been it would have been great for the scene.
yeah,
Like it just would have been. We would have had another player run site. We would have had a site with a deep player base, um, which is just always good for the scene in general, having a site with a really deep player base. Um, but
that was
no.
it. Yeah, Yeah, and who knows? Maybe that kind of backing by the old school Detroit players would have meant that they would have stuck around in business, because from what I heard, like you said, they use Tag as kind of a recruitment, semi recruitment center. Um,
It was on the list.
I heard stories of they would follow kids around the arena and stuff and ask them like weird questions, and they would play
Ugh.
they'd play off-putting music during the games, not really your standard Mortal Kombat soundtrack, or it was more of a gospel feel, which gospel music has its place, probably not in a laser tag center.
There's this place, but yeah, that place is not a laser tag.
Yeah. So then the follow-up question to that what if is, what if the cult never left? What if they were still the owners of Laser Force in Detroit?
I wouldn't have gone in 2019, that's for sure. I mean, I really would not have gone to any events that they would have either hosted or been involved with. Um,
Jail.
I don't. So if they were still, um, if they had still owned Detroit at this point, Tucker Craig would probably be in jail. You're not wrong. Um, I actually don't think 2019 happens.
Nah.
No,
At least
not in Detroit.
not yeah, because I don't see a world in which anybody from Australia would voluntarily go into that.
We're not the same country,
Or,
just quietly.
well, I mean, are you sure?
Yes.
Seems
I'm fairly
like you
positive.
guys might be sometimes. You sure? Okay. I don't see any world in which anybody from the Australasian region puts themselves into puts themselves into a situation where they have to where they're going to fly, for fucking ever to have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and there was a reason when we were hosting the 2017 Nats in Sacramento that I got all of their site reps and said, I need to be very clear on this point. I will not organize this tournament. I will not play in this tournament if the cult is allowed to play. And I
Yeah.
had to make that clear to our site owner, made that clear to all the other site reps, to anybody else who's involved in the tournament. I said, no, this is a non-starter for me.
So
I will not be involved in any way, shape, or form.
I made my decision to go to Detroit after Mr. Doom and Kamikaze had already bought tickets. They were like, "Hey, we're thinking about going to Detroit. We're gonna go to the States anyway. Thinking about going to Detroit to play lasers." And I would have immediately told them that A, I'm not coming, and B, you shouldn't go either. I would have done everything that I possibly could have to make sure that Auckland had no site representation at that particular competition, because I mean I never met the people personally, but I did get some very interesting tales told about what sort of activity was happening, and then just off the backlash of what happened in 2015 2016, it's just like, nah man, not worth it. Don't waste your money. Go to the States, just don't go through Detroit. It's not worth it. Jeff openly said he would never host again if they said they would be coming. Yeah, exactly. And when you get that from ownership, like and I'd imagine Jeff has a bit of pull with the sites in the States too, so, well, the competitive sites, in the States, so yeah. Anyway, anything else you guys wanted to add on that particular what if scenario?
I don't know. I feel like we've kind of beat that one into the ground a little bit.
Yeah, other than Nats being someplace different in 2019, like I feel like if sort of they were just excised from the tournament scene in any case, like maybe some other stuff isn't necessarily different, but yeah, that certainly would have been different.
we
When Nats 2019, and we wouldn't have got to hang out that week, Steve.
Yeah, exactly right. We don't. I mean, I never meet the thin version of Wolfman. We never get a we never get a championship belt. I don't get the opportunity to meet the wider Detroit center. Ghostly, Micro, don't meet those guys. Um, what else? I never get to go to a Detroit hospital. um, I mean,
Maybe we can cut that part out anyway.
Allegedly. um, wouldn't have met you. Oh yeah,
Travel
no
insurance,
wait.
kids.
Did we
Travel insurance.
always buy travel insurance, kids? Did we not? I thought we met prior to Detroit, Tucker. Possibly not.
I don't think you would have now.
And you know what? I think we probably wouldn't still have a lot of those Detroit players in the Force scene. Because not a lot of them travel anyway. But they certainly do travel to other lasers sites in the States. So I don't know. Maybe we don't continue to have a lot of those players in the scene. Which means Brisbane possibly get one more Nationals win than they already have. Most of the Lovelanders had only met the Aussies and not the New Zealanders. No, we had a team go in Sacramento.
Yeah,
that was when we met a bunch of
Yeah,
the
there were
Lovelanders.
Yeah.
there were definitely a few Lovelanders there in
Yeah,
2017.
not
I
not
don't.
Tucker wasn't there in
Tucker wasn't
17,
there. Oh,
but
Lucy?
yes, there was a Loveland team.
Yeah. It's just you then. Well, that's the most important thing to me, Tucker. Just you. We have one other what if scenario. It's probably a good thing we wasted like the first 40 minutes of the. Use the first 40 minutes of the show to talk about other stuff.
Wasted.
Yeah.
Definitely wasted.
And also, if you guys have some what if scenarios that you'd like to discuss or like us to discuss, feel free to chuck them in the Discord, !Discord and chat. Yeah, it's. Well, again, we'll talk about some of the stuff you guys want us to talk about because mostly it's just us talking shit to each other. What if you had here? You technically have here. You did have here. What if no COVID-19? That's a good one. That's a real good one. And maybe we'll talk about that once we see the end of like hardcore COVID restrictions. Because we almost talk about that every week, but it's not a bad
Easy.
one.
I'd have the championship belt on my wall. I'd be making Steve cry by showing it to him all the time.
Yeah, maybe if you lived at my house. um, the other one, and this is kind of the one that spawned me wanting to talk about this again because it's kind of a good thing to reflect on. But what if we never made the switch to a live format? What if we never moved the show? Wouldn't have worked with Steve with no COVID. Yeah, exactly right. What if we didn't have the Twitch community? Or what if we didn't move the show to a live format? And you could even extend
I was
it
thinking that you were just saying, what if we never did the pod
so we could
together?
extend it out to what if we
all.
never did the podcast? Nova COVID, then maybe Syracuse tag wouldn't be dead. Well, that makes me so sad.
Hey, we still had fake Nats, baby.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
We'll
so
always have fake Nats.
how does it look if we
So
never
if-
started the podcast?
So if we never start the podcast, there's not an episode 1 where Steve-O, you hit me up and go, hey, let's talk about lasers, and I go, okay. If there's no episode 1, I
Get no Jar Jar.
genuinely wonder as to the kind of the long-term cohesiveness of the Force tournament scene. So over time, there's always been some sort of unifying thing to the tournament scene. Either it was the Laser Force forums, but back in the day, like that brought people together. The Facebook group kind of ish worked, but Facebook is a garbage platform at this point.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's always been some sort of touch point where the community could have some type of gathering point. Um,
We'll get there too.
but but with Facebook becoming such a garbage platform over time, like if there's not kind of this anchor, the resupply community as kind of this show and anchoring point, you know, does everything just kind of fragment further and get so much more decentralized that there really isn't a scene? There it goes back to, oh, there's like one or two people from each site that keep in contact with each other and maybe try to do like, you know, inner site things. But I don't know that you maintain kind of this inner core cohesiveness to the entirety of of the scene.
Mm.
Um, and then I mean, it's also kind of hard to have this conversation without talking about the impact that COVID has had, because the secondary reality there is that if there's no anchor point for the community as COVID hits, well, then what happens?
Mm.
Because I mean, nobody can play for this extended period of time. We're all just kind of off in our own little spaces. Um, some of us more so than others because we're not even near a site that we can play um, at all. And so, you kind of take this kind of step by step extreme on it of, does the tournament scene exist in its current form? Is there any sort of wider communication with the European sites?
Mm.
Like, we without this, we don't necessarily. I mean, maybe we know their sites in the Czech Republic because we can look at a website, we can look at the Laser Force site and go, oh wow, cool. There's a whole bunch of sites over in Europe. Sweet. No fucking idea what's happening there.
Yeah.
But through this, we've we've actually got someone from the Czech Republic in chat right now. Hi, Lucy. um, and on a regular basis, we've got players from the UK and Germany in here.
Is that llama?
That doesn't happen, I don't think, without this anchor point.
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut up now and let you guys talk.
So we obviously we talk about this through the prism of our own experience and our points of view. And it's funny because when I posed the question earlier, the way Than put it was, we'll just blow ourselves during this particular question. And like,
This show is very important, and laser tag would not exist without us.
and like it sounds like that's how we put it.
I believe the phrase I used was, "Oh, good, this is just a sucking ourselves off question." I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure
yeah.
that's how I phrased the response to that.
And some of it will sound like that, and I just want to preface it that that's not how we feel. We don't feel that we are the center of all of your universes.
I mean, we could be though.
But if you because I agree. I think that you need an anchoring point. So without no DK's D&D Chronicles. So for me personally, I think that my relationships with the two of you aren't nearly as strong, because whilst me and you then messaged reasonably frequently, I don't communicate well through text, because I can't articulate myself as well through text, and I'm a fairly emotive person. I can't portray that through text. So and like it's not super common that I would pick up the phone and call anyone just for a chat. There's only one person in my life that I do that with, and it's not my wife.
So?
No, it's not. And that's because he calls me and then we'll just have a chat about whatever for half an hour while he's on his lunch break. But that's the only person that calls me like that. Oh,
I thought you were gonna say
mum.
your mum.
Actually, and my mum
you should
too.
all call your mums.
Yeah, my mum as well. To be fair,
If you haven't called your mum lately, you should give her a call.
definitely call your mum.
That
If
is-
you haven't,
That is accurate. Yes.
yes.
Do that.
If you have the option to do that, you should do that. Yeah, so but definitely our relationship with DK is like way stronger because of the show, because we would converse on a regular basis, rather than our relationship fading into obscurity like it could have potentially done, because we met a couple of weeks over the course of 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah, sure. Because I saw you in 2010, 2012, 14,
Yeah.
17,
17,
19.
Um,
And that time that you randomly came to San Fran and we hung out for a bit.
That's right. Yeah, that too. But we part of those later years is because of the show, right? So
Yeah, but I don't see you as much on a regular basis. I probably don't see Al and Hoodie and Ducky
Oh, that's
on
yeah.
regular of a basis because of the No D&D Chronicles.
Yep.
Because that kind of only spun out of this show also. So whether we were streaming it or not, and I mean, again, I loved hanging out with all those guys,
Yeah.
but I'd seen Al a bit more because he'd come to the States a couple of times, but I'd only seen in person Hoodie and Ducky twice when I went down to Brisbane. It was awesome hanging out with them, and I would hang out with them again if I came down to Australia, but that was most of my interaction with them until we started playing on a regular basis.
Yeah. And without this kind of, like, for us, and I guess for a lot of people now, doing Discord hangouts, doing Skype hangouts, or Zoom or whatever, those kinds of interactions with people are now kind of normal. But yeah, like prior to COVID, you don't really have like group hangouts on the internet like this. And
You do, but not necessarily as often.
I don't think I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people do. Like I couldn't tell you prior to COVID any particular time where I hung out with people on video chat, or even like on a group call.
It was a smaller subset.
Some people would. Yeah, some people would do like
something.
voice chats for playing video games and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay. So
Because I know
there's
like Flint and Venom and Micro and Ghost used to be on like Xbox Live and stuff like that, and they would hang out on there, and that was how they had a lot of their interactions outside of laser tag, since obviously they didn't live in the same place.
Yeah. Someone told me in 2019 that Discord will probably be a lifesaver. Probably have laughed them off. 100%, Maddie. We were just talking about our experiences with Michigan people earlier. I don't know if you caught all of that. But yeah, like it's for me, my relationships now, and I think I was talking. Okay. So without the podcast, I think obviously we don't get into Twitch, and so Twitch for me, and by association Discord, we're not all bad. No way.
We know.
Twitch and by association Discord for me have and for me, same as for many of you, been like life-saving, because over COVID, not being able to talk to people, not being able to see people in the flesh, or have national tournaments, because obviously they got cancelled. This has been the main way that I hang out with people, to the point now where I have more regular contact with people through the Twitch and podcast communities that I do with people in real life now. And I have forged some really strong friendships with people that I've not met prior to hanging out in these communities. That guy being one of them. Someone told you last year you'd spend a majority of your time in talking to a Floridian nurse in an ER. You wouldn't believe it. You literally only started using Discord and Twitch this year thanks to meeting Hannah. Now consider some of these people as genuinely as your best friends. Yeah, 100% Frosty. It's crazy.
Yep.
So what happens if none of that exists? How does
it's way
COVID
different.
time look?
Well, and even going back pre-Twitch stream, I can definitely say for me, there's a pretty good chance without the podcast, because I will credit you guys with FOMOing me into coming to Brisbane in 2018. I was fully intending not to
Right.
come to Brisbane.
That's right. You were not. You were pretty adamant. Like, nah, I'm not
Pretty
doing this.
adamant.
I'm not. No, no, no. And then we started talking about it, and it was quick. It was within like a week or
Yeah.
two. All of a sudden, you're like, "Fuck it, I'm doing this."
Yeah, you assholes.
Yeah.
Great.
And I mean, again, there's a whole like chain of events. There's a whole butterfly effect that comes off of things. But yeah, if I don't go in 2018 and then our site closes down again the next year, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I kind of let laser tag lapse off again.
Yep.
I don't know,
It's
because it sort of disappeared from my life after our site closed in 2004 until it came back
yeah.
again, other than chatting with some people who obviously were still my good friends, like Than, even though he lived on the other side of the world at that point, but we still talked on like a weekly basis.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, so I can at least say that personally for me, that without the podcast, I probably don't come to Brisbane in 2018.
Yeah. It's a crazy thing, and like there's been a few things brought up in chat about what that means to certain people, and one of the things I absolutely thought about was we don't end up doing charity streams, which means we don't end up raising $6,000 for Korukia and raising 13.5 for Starship.
Almost 20K in 2 years in charity streams. That's not like that was one of the other things I was gonna bring up.
Steve would
also,
still
like,
have his hair.
I would still have my hair.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean the fact that through all this, there was 20K raised for charity. Now that's not to say that the people that donated, like, sure, maybe they end up donating to different things in other capacities. There's
Maybe.
Sometimes you need
maybe.
to
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying though. It's a big maybe.
yeah.
And I think it's reasonable to say that okay, we've raised basically $19,500 over 2 years. I think it's reasonable to say that sure, some people might have done other donations. I doubt it would have been 19.5 grand
Yeah.
worth of donations from the people that are involved in this community to other things. I mean, maybe it would have been two or three or four grand over that time, because as I just say, there kind of wasn't the impetus to do the thing. There wasn't this extra incentive of you losing your hair and Gray losing his beard. I mean, these are great incentives. People love this shit.
Yeah.
And so, that happened.
Yeah.
So, there's a very real thing where it's like, hey, there's there's this invisible positive net effect that we've had to people that, we're never going to necessarily know that positive net effect, but you can kind of make this assumption that is there.
It's better than
the donations.
nil, right?
Yeah. Definitely better than nil. Last year's donations, I'm sure, paid helped pay for somebody to get mental health care, or multiple people's to get mental health care. This year's, we covered half of a care flight, because I think I remember you saying that the care flights are like 28 grand a piece or something.
He didn't say what the cost was. Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
nuts.
So,
Yeah.
there's these things where, yeah, there's these indirect net positive benefits that wouldn't have happened for sure.
32,000, right, for a care flight. Crazy.
Okay, so we
Well,
paid for a
but still,
third of a care.
that's a good chunk of it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's just from our community, not
Yeah.
from the other streamers and other communities who were also contributing to the effort.
Yeah.
So
I think it's at about
that could make a
20,
difference for that one
25,
person.
26. Um,
for sure.
for that, like we don't see two of our community romantically get together. um, the charity streams are amazing. Thank you, Maddie. I hope you had a good time watching. We had a great time putting them on. It makes me real concerned about how we top it for next year, but I got some ideas. I do have some ideas.
That's a problem for future Steve.
Oh no, it's a problem for right now, Steve. Because right now, Steve is like, "Fuck, don't let down future Steve." But yeah, we
That
don't
brain's always churning something.
always mixtape. We don't see Ninja and two find each other.
Yeah, that's 100% accurate.
Yeah. Um,
That does not happen.
we don't see. I don't think we see. Hello, we did ring. We're just talking about you. We don't see. Or I don't see my relationship with the boys from Melbourne being stronger. Because of having regular contact with them, because we like, they're some of my favorite people in the world anyway, but certainly within the Laser Force community, and it seemed real weird that we wouldn't have the Jackbox streams and catch ups that we ended up doing. But I mean, really, those things come out of becoming more comfortable with this kind of relationship with people. But yeah, it's such a weird thing. And also for me, creatively, I don't think I would be creatively as fulfilled as I am without the pod. Because it's by far the most creatively engaging thing that I've ever kind of undertaken, especially back in the early days with the pod, because we'd record the pod and then I would go back through them and spend like 5 hours with the editing hammer cutting them to pieces.
Weirdo.
Yeah. When this is way easier.
We have to make Than stop stuttering. Let me cut that out.
Look, there wasn't. To be fair, there wasn't that much of that. There was a couple, but there wasn't that much of that. Because getting rid of that gets rid of you. You are you. So I don't want to like stop you from being you that much, unless it's a fucking puddle of mud.
I don't voluntarily listen to them, but if they come on, I don't turn them off. What's your fucking problem?
So, okay, I guess what we're trying to say is, I guess some good things have come out of the podcast.
It just made me think he has become the stutter. It made me think I was kind of backtracking, if you will, just having a wee reminisce about the state of affairs, and kind of about how much the last, or specifically the last 18 months has been with the pod, but like the pod over the course of how long? 4 years? Think you said
About that. Yeah, because we started it in the
run up to the 2017 Nats.
2017.
Yeah, right. And that was real fun. And same with like the live sessions that we did at Nationals and all that kind of iterations of the podcast. But certainly for me, the Twitch evolution has been great. It's been real fun.
Yeah, there is something about having, chat trying to fucking derail us 90% of the time that is pretty fucking fun as far as that goes.
Sometimes.
Sometimes when chat takes us off the rails completely, and it's just like, fine, fuck it, what the fuck you guys doing? What do you guys want? And it's just and and we get those moments of disordered chaos. Yeah, so some of that is really fun that, would never, you know, obviously you can't get that without a live audience. Secretly, we wanted it to go off the rails. I don't know that we ever want it to go off the rails, but sometimes when it happens, it is pretty goddamn funny. So,
Oh shit! Nate coming in, swinging in with his derailing gift subs. Thank you, bro.
See,
5 gift subs.
without the Twitch stream, Nate would have just gifted those 5 subs. So there we go.
Nate gifted a sub to himself. That's hilarious.
Make sure you thank yourself, okay? Thank yourself, Nate.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, me. Yeah. Also, I think we don't. I don't think we get. I don't think we get a doorway to the to the European sites either.
Pretty sure I said that.
Yeah, but I wanted to say it.
You're reiterating?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that later
I wanted to say it better.
Yeah, so later I could say it was my idea. Oh, you gifted yourself
Aw.
2 subs. That's awesome.
All that.
Look at this fucking multi-accounter over here.
That's bloody brilliant.
I mean, I know I definitely don't start streaming if not for this. So,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which, I think, and I hate to speak on behalf of you, but I will.
you're going to. Yeah.
That was a massive
It's not the first time.
that was a big part of your mental health recovery, right?
Yeah. No, that
Maybe not a big part, but like a part of.
No, it definitely played a very large role at times because it just became some extra talk therapy.
Yeah.
But it's 100% not something I would have even thought about without this. Like I probably would have still been playing video games because but I wouldn't have been doing it with any type of interaction, which honestly for the mental state that I was in would probably not have been real fucking fantastic over the long term. I'm just gonna I don't yeah I was not in a good place for a very long time, and I don't ever think I've really quite elucidated just how bad a place I was in for a while. I mean, you could probably guess, but yeah, there were some definite days of what's the next 5 minutes bring? What's the next 5 minutes bring? So I'm definitely happy to not be there anymore for sure.
Yeah.
Word.
You wouldn't have got this without the podcast. Yeah, it's I think COVID would have been a real even shittier time without having a community. And I feel pretty fortunate that we got to have been able to go through this massive life altering experience being COVID, with a lot of people gathered around, not physically because that would be pretty bad to do during a pandemic, but
Yeah, pretty much.
but certainly online, certainly having community around has made it more bearable, way more bearable. But yeah,
Again, for me, I don't have to commute to work. I don't have to wear pants, and I get to talk to my friends on the internet more. This is awesome. I love the pandemic.
check, and check. This morning when I messaged you, were you not wearing pants when you turned your video camera on? Had you just gotten out of the shower?
No, I had pants. I was just finishing a TV show in the other room,
Oh,
so
okay.
I'm just like, I'll turn on the camera, but I'm not going to talk to you till I'm done with my other stuff.
Perfect. That's okay. Cool. I just assumed it was you were naked and you were like, "I'll turn it on, but I won't be in front of the camera."
Just do it very carefully. Reach over.
Fall over in front of it. Look, if you guys want to share your what ifs with us, we'd love to hear them. or even share your viewpoints. You've been in the office full time since May. You missed telecommuting. Oh, that sucks, matey. I'm very glad I get to work from home. I feel very privileged by that. It's such a better way to be. But yeah, if you guys want to share your experiences, reaching for content, no, I'm genuinely interested, like, to hear people's point of views, especially on this particular topic. Because for me, why would I want to just talk about how awesome I am when I can get you guys to talk about how awesome I am? It's way less work and it makes me feel good. No. If you want to share your experiences with us, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, the other thing is, we'd love for more hypotheticals, because the what if scenarios for me are fascinating to think about. And because we have a platform, we might as well talk about them too. Yeah. Anything you guys want to add? He's the other guy.
I think we're good.
Awesome.
Yeah, I want to go watch Dune.
Yeah,
so
I know you do.
Let's get out of here.
I'm trying to like extend it for as long as possible. Actually, there is one last thing. Just one
DK
last.
is so done.
One
DK
last
is so
announcement.
done,
I don't
bro.
want to talk about this anymore. We've done. But tomorrow morning, the All Blacks are playing. Or tomorrow morning, New Zealand time, the All Blacks are playing a game against the US rugby team in Washington. So
Congratulations on your win, All Blacks.
my best friend Richie Moanga is starting, so I will be watching the game. I think I'm going to watch it in Discord. So if anyone wants to get up, the game I think is on at 8:30 New Zealand time, which puts it at like 3:30 p.m. local time. I think it's in 3 p.m.
That sounds about right.
Local time.
Right.
Look at he's got his thinking eyebrows on. So I'm gonna
Too
watch,
much math.
I'm gonna
Can't
watch
do
it
it,
in the Discord. So if anyone wants to come on and watch it with us, come hang out. It should be fun. Hopefully it'll be fun.
It'll be a massacre, but okay.
we are going to try and put some time aside, possibly next weekend, for the penultimate or ultimate episode of DK's D&D.
Depending how many doors there are, yes.
So I think that'll happen next week. You've been watching I know what you did last summer TV series on Amazon. Any good? Let us know. Well, you're gonna come hang out tomorrow? You're sleeping at lasers tomorrow? Perfect. Come hang out with us. I'm gonna. I wanna see how the Americans react to the haka, because it's fucking awesome. But yeah,
It's ourselves, probably.
no, yeah, not our haka. But yeah, we'll put another schedule up for the week. We've got some stuff that's happening next week. But until then, thank you to everyone in chat for joining us today. Thank you for your involvement in our conversations, both today and always. You're gonna go with mispronunciation? I think so.
The hacker? What's a hacker?
What's a hacker? But for this week, I have been Guy Next Door.
I've been Dune. I mean DK.
And I've been Than.
Always remember to backtrack, kids. We will see you all next week. Ka kite anō.
I've been throwing daggers together.